It was the kind of quiet, warm May night that passes unnoticed in the sleepy countryside of Minnesota. Brandon Swanson, just 19 years old, had finished his first year of college and was in good spirits. He was known to be smart, responsible, thoughtful, not the kind of kid to cause trouble or disappear without reason. He had attended a small get-together that night in Canby, where he'd been studying, to celebrate the end of the semester with friends. Witnesses said he had a couple of drinks, but nothing excessive. No one thought he was drunk. Around midnight, he said his goodbyes and got into his Chevy Lumina, planning to drive home to Marshall, a 30-mile journey that should have taken less than an hour. He never made it. Somewhere along the dark country roads, Brandon took a wrong turn, then another, then another. Without GPS or clear markers in the flat farmland, it's easy to get disoriented, especially at night when the land stretches endlessly into darkness. Eventually, his car slid off a gravel road and into a ditch. That's when he picked up his phone and called his parents' dot at 1:54 a.m. Brandon reached out to his father, Brian Swanson. He wasn't panicked. He just explained that his car had gone off the road and he couldn't get it back out. He said he was somewhere near Lind, a small town close to Marshall. His parents, startled but not overly worried, got in the family truck and headed out to find him. He told them he was walking toward the lights of Lind, trying to meet them halfway. They stayed on the phone with him as he walked. The call would last 47 minutes, and for nearly the entire time, they were both searching, he on foot and they in the truck, driving slowly through the night, headlights cutting across fields and gravel roads. He described what he was seeing: fences, fields, gravel. He couldn't see street signs. They honked the horn, flashed the lights. He heard nothing. They heard nothing. It was like they were in two different worlds. His mother, Annette, briefly took the phone at one point. She admits she was frustrated, confused that they couldn't find each other, even though he insisted he was in the right place. But then she passed the phone back to Brian, who kept talking to Brandon as he walked. Brandon eventually said he was cutting across fields now. He mentioned hearing water, something like a creek. It was nearly 2:30 a.m. by now. His voice still sounded calm. Tired, maybe, but not scared. He just wanted to get home. And then, without warning, he interrupted himself. Oh shit. Those were the last two words anyone ever heard him say. The call went silent. Not disconnected, not right away. Just nothing. Then the line dropped out. Brian tried to call back immediately. No answer. They tried again. It rang, and rang, and rang. For the next 2 days, Brandon's phone continued to ring whenever someone called. That fact has haunted his family for years. If it had gone straight to voicemail, it might have meant the battery had died or the phone was destroyed. But ringing meant it was still powered on, still functional, still out there somewhere. Why wasn't he answering? By morning, with no word from Brandon, his parents contacted the police. But their concern was met with frustrating indifference. Officers insisted he was probably just sleeping it off somewhere, that he'd show up, that he was legally an adult, and maybe he just didn't want to be found. But his parents knew something was wrong. This wasn't like him. He had no reason to vanish. He wasn't depressed. He hadn't argued with anyone. He had plans, school, work. His life was in motion. Eventually, Pressure from the family moved the authorities into action. When they finally started searching, they discovered that Brandon had not been anywhere near Lind. His car was located near the tiny town of Taunton, roughly 25 miles away from where he thought he was. He had been completely turned around that night, and that's where things get even stranger. Search dogs picked up his scent near the car. It led them along a gravel road, then through fields, down into a ditch, and across a stream, most likely the Yellow Medicine River. His scent was picked up on the other side, suggesting he made it across. The trail continued for a short distance, and then, just as suddenly as it began, the scent vanished. This suggests a few things. First, he was alive long enough to make it out of the ditch, cross a river, and keep walking. Second, something happened on that second stretch of land. Maybe an accident. Maybe something or someone found him. Or maybe he was disoriented, injured, collapsed. But the land was searched exhaustively, foot by foot. Dozens of volunteers, search dogs, helicopters, drones, and cadaver dogs combed the area for weeks. No blood, no clothing, no footprints, no bones, not even the phone. If he had drowned, something should have turned up. If he had died of exposure, his body should have been found. But there was nothing, just that vanishing trail, just the silence. People have speculated about everything. Maybe he was abducted. Maybe he suffered a sudden medical emergency and fell into a hole or drainage pipe. Maybe he accidentally drowned after all, and his body was carried downstream. But again, the phone kept ringing for 2 days. That alone raises chilling questions. It shouldn't have worked if it had gone underwater. So, where was it? Why didn't he use it again? Why didn't he call 911? He had the phone in his hand the whole time. Why not send a location pin, a text, anything? Some wonder if foul play came after the call, that perhaps he encountered someone in the dark, miles from civilization, and something happened that couldn't be undone. But then, why was there no evidence of a struggle? Why did the trail go cold so cleanly? Others think he might have suffered from disorientation, possibly hypothermia, and wandered into a place no one has searched yet. But that land is flat and open. Someone should have seen something. Yet they did and single quotes D. his parents, in the years that followed, became vocal advocates for missing persons reform. Their heartbreak became activism. Brandon's law was signed in 2009, ensuring that authorities begin immediate searches in suspicious disappearances, regardless of age. It was a way to make sure other families wouldn't have to hear. He's probably just blowing off steam, when every bone in their body knew something had gone terribly wrong. But the law didn't bring Brandon back. What's most haunting about Brandon's disappearance isn't just the mystery. It's how ordinary it all was. A night drive home, a phone call to mom and dad, a walk through fields, a missed connection in the dark, and then silence, no trace, no goodbye, just 2 words. Oh shit. A moment of realization, fear, or surprise. No one knows what he saw, or heard, or understood, and no one ever got the chance to ask. Even now, years later, people still visit the area. Online sleuths retrace the maps. Reddit threads analyze the call logs, the terrain, the cell tower pings. Everyone wants to solve it. Everyone wants to believe there's an answer just waiting to be uncovered. But maybe there isn't. Maybe Brandon Swanson walked into a pocket of the world where answers don't reach, where phone calls ring unanswered, where voices are heard but not found, and where, in the dark, the last thing you say might be the only clue you ever leave behind.